All right, so I've had a lot of people try to convince me to get off Beastmaster. They say it's cheesy, it's cringy, it's weak sauce. You're only doing it because you don't know how to play Bounty Hunter, and you know they're probably right. I like to win. I don't want to go bounty hunting and lose. So I'm gonna use the spec that is the easiest and is gonna get me wins most of the time. And a couple of the boys convinced me to try Carbines because they beat me in a duel and with my pet, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't like Carbine the first time I tried it out because it felt like I was hitting like a wet noodle. But you really gotta dig into it a little bit more, make sure the class is set up right. And you have to remember it's a sustained damage class, not a burst damage class. You just got to be patient, and the damage will come. You'll be fighting somebody and be like, why am I not doing a ton of damage right now? And then all of a sudden the person's dead. There's a threshold of armor break and assault and return fire and this heat proc that never stops, that just like turns into this recipe for your opponent just dying. So you should definitely try Carbines. It's definitely worth it. I would say it's a little bit better than rifles because you can spec full damage and not have to worry about your action as much, especially when you're using the Enforcer's 5-piece, but still use Dyers most of the time against officers, against Jedi, against smugglers. And there's even some precedent to use Flawless with Carbines, just so you keep stacking your armor break, and like against Jedi with Saber Block. When you're using Dyers, you're going to want to go down to Assault and Ambush 6. And then when you hit Relentless Onslaught, tab over to a different toolbar with Mark 8 and use that instead. When you're using Enforcers, you can just use Mark 8 because of the action cost reduction. And remember to keep hitting Return Fire because the cooldown on that is extended and the duration is extended with that jewelry set. This build's pretty crit heavy, so if you're going up against somebody with crit hit reduction, I'd switch off the crit pups and go either assault or carbine damage pups, and then use flame out instead of a cargum to benefit from strike through more since you can't rely on crit as much. Just a general strategy: spam ambush until your armor break is at 5. And then once you feel like your opponent is weak and not going to hit a cooldown, hit Relentless Onslaught and just spam assault and ambush until they're dead. This heat proc is no joke. Like, I've seen people burn through my shields with just the heat proc, just constantly spamming, and I've stood no chance. I've done it a ton too, but I didn't record it.